Welcome to the grim, lawless 23rd century, following the fall of USGov and mass depopulation of major cities at the hands of the multi-trillionaire de Huberton family. Baptized in radioactive hellfire, a rare mutation makes Turbo a fiercely pumped scrapper, haunted by specters from her past, surviving the post-apocalyptic wasteland one deathmatch pit fight at a time. But when she rescues the stunning trophy girl, the unlikely duo are thrust into a harrowing odyssey, evading marauding berserkers at every turn on their way to the ultimate showdown as they uncover the horrific truth behind the fall of humanity.
Good morning, Jay.
Kurt's there. What's up? And welcome.
Oh,
everybody.
you know.
Yes. Welcome everybody to another episode. That was not me ripping a fart. That was I'm unpacking.
What do you got going on?
I'm taking the tape off a package here, so I can. I was just gonna start with some show and tell. But yeah, guys, welcome to another episode of Making Turbo Pit Fighter, where we're a production duo and we're doing some post-apocalyptic sci-fi comics. People might be wondering why my old laptop is up, because we're at the point where I'm going to be composing pages today. And for that, I have my old versions of QuarkXPress. And I'm going to be making a page right here that is 8.5 by 11. And we're going to be laying out some art and writing for our Turbo Teaser number 2. And this is going to be cool because it's going to combine Turbo Teaser number 1 and the latest 6 pages that we're completing for the Turbo Pit Fighter comic. I think it was a great idea that Kurt had. Rather than just working on this thing tirelessly until we have the whole thing done, Kurt was like, no, let's put out what we got. You know, what happens if one of us gets hit by a truck and we never put anything out? So we're putting out these teasers, and we're not expecting, them to to sell briskly like a finished comic, but they're great for promo, and you're given, it's like a perfect sampler. You could, if you meet publishers or you meet potential collaborators or fans, just to whet their appetite. And so yeah, I was just opening is because Kurt, I did a trip to my local comic store, Newberry Comics.
It's closing,
which is No, that's the mom and pop one in Nyack. This is the big one in the mall. That is a corporate chain. There's other locations all over. I know there's one in Saddle River Mall in New Jersey, which is only about 15 minutes away. So they're everywhere, but they're like a terrible corporate chain. And I've complained before. Well, every time I go to get comics there, they're all on these racks that are just like, they're laid out in this tiny little rack where you can't see it, because most of the retail space in that store is reserved for plushies and those little toy things. Those I can't stand, those little POW thing toys, those big head little Lego looking toys. And they do have albums. They have vinyl records, and right up in the front when you walk in, there are like 4 decent sized racks of manga books. And so the American comics are stuck in the back, and they're all crowded together. You can't even flip through them. I've already complained about that. But what I bought here is, because my brother gave me a $200 gift certificate to Newberry Comics, and so I haven't been able to use it. I only bought 1 comic since Christmas, so I was like, just kind of like itching to buy stuff. And so I ended up buying stuff that I probably shouldn't have. But what I did is I bought this. I want people to see, right? for this is a grab bag. You see this? $6.99.
Yeah.
It's a 10-pack Marvel grab bag. And what I wanted to illustrate here, Kurt, is that these freaking Marvel comics are forgettable as 2 months after they're made.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they put a nice #1 on here, and so I was like, oh, this one looks cool, right? It's like this new spider character, Silk. I think this might have something to do with the new movie coming out, which is going to be called Madam Web.
It all
maybe
has
not.
to do with the new movie coming out.
I don't know because why didn't they because there's a preview out now, in January 2024. There's a preview out now called Madam Web for a Marvel movie that isn't coming out till the summer. But it's it's a team of female that are imbued with spidery power somehow. And I'm wondering why they didn't just call it Silk, because this is a much cooler name than Madam Web. So I just want people to see, because I haven't looked through this. It's a grab bag, and you have to you get what you get, right? The only thing you can see is the #1 on the front, and then on the back they don't even why don't they? Oh, they did. Okay, so you did see what's on the back, because they do face it out. So I have Red Goblin #2 variant cover. Okay, and I have Silk #1, but look. This cover is freaking damaged right from the get. You see this right here? This fold? I don't know if you can see this, but this is because they lay these things out in a rack, and people have to manhandle them just to see what's inside. And somebody probably put a different comic in front of it, and it got dog-eared and it got stuck. So now they're putting this in. I couldn't see that in the grab bag. So, rip off after rip off. But let's just rip through these. So I got Silk #1, bonus cover or whatever. I got Captain Marvel #1. Now, Kurt, if you really want me to poke out my eyes, do you know this thing that they're doing now? Is they're substituting all the superheroes with freaking anthropomorphic characters, including the Disney characters. So here's Minnie Mouse as Captain Marvel. I know, this is Disney 100. What if Minnie Mouse was Captain Marvel? And is this a real thing? So all these characters inside, can you imagine? Are they having to draw? I mean, what the hell are we talking about here? I don't even see it. Is that just a cover? Because this looks like a regular Spider-Man inside with J. Jonah Jameson. Yeah, I think that's just a cover. And a lot of ads in here. Next, Mickey as Iron Man. So this is part of the variant.
God, did you know? You didn't know you were getting all these.
No, it's a blind grab bag. I'm learning this right now. My heart is sinking. Mickey Mouse. This is like this crossover, and this is just a typical comic. Look, this has Spider-Man and the Shocker inside. I don't even see Iron Man. Look, I see Doc Ock, and whatever this lady is. I don't know her name yet. I think, and is it the same exact comic? I think this might be the same exact comic. No, hold on.
Oh wow, you got variant covers.
This doesn't even have a number. This says the Invincible Iron Man and has no number. And then you open it up and it's Spider-Man. And no, it's a different Spider-Man comic. So, but it's done by the same artist, same characters. What the hell is going on? All right, now here's Moon Knight, and this is a thick one. Oh, that's the back cover. So here is Werewolf on the front, Werewolf by Night, and it's a thick book. I don't even know what book I'm buying here. It's Moon Knight. So this is an issue of Moon Knight with a lot of ads. And look, there's some cool. This is cool. There's some reprints in the back with the good old days, Bill Sienkiewicz, right? So this is why it's a little bit longer. They padded it in the back, but it was already long as it was. So this might actually be a decent comic. It's Moon Knight 25. You got to look at the spine to see what it is, or it's here on the back. Variant edition. They put Werewolf by Night on the cover. He's not figuring into the story at all. Unbelievable confusion, and so gimmicky, right? So here I got Moon Knight number 13. Moon Knight is a prominently featured character now in the Marvel line, and he's got Tigra guest starring in his comics. Now, we spoke about this, but I watched the Moon Knight series on whatever Disney, and I couldn't even finish it. It was so bad. They had a big star, and look, they're drawing freaking Tigra like she's Katie Keene or something. And look, what a waste of a page. Let's not get into this. All right, next, Planet of the Apes, number 1. And here, you see this? This is another tie-in with 20th Century Studios. And I think that used to be Fox, but they divested. But I digress. So this is the new Planet of the Apes comic that's out. And there's tons and tons of different covers. I can't even tell you how many different covers there were of this. And they're promoting the new Planet of the Apes film, which is coming out, which I will see, but it's another Hollywood thing. So they're doing these tie-ins, Marvel and Planet of the Apes is, and if you see this on there, I think that's a bad thing because they're making cheap, disposable comics that are probably going to end up in the dollar bins or the 3 for $1 bins. Here is something I got called Dark Web. Yeah. Here is a Dark Web versus Gold Goblin. So I think we're getting really far afield here with all of these spin-off characters. I know they're making male and female versions of everything. And I know that, there's Green Goblin and Red Goblin, but here's now Gold Goblin. And, where does it end? There's going to be Rainbow Goblin. And here's a copy of Hallows Eve number 4, which I don't know anything about. And I guess I own this now, so I guess I can find out. This is a thick book. Oh, God. Venom. Oh, I hate Venom. Always have. But here's a super oversized book. Venom number 25, where he's fighting Doctor Doom. He's got 4 arms like the Digisaurus character, whatever. And, it's a typical Marvel stuff inside. To me, it all looks the same, really. And on the back, of course, is Red Goblin number 2. So if folks are wondering what you get in a grab bag, this is what they're doing. They just made back some of the money that they lost by buying these comics from Marvel. They ordered them with cover prices of $3.99, $7.99. Look, this is $7.99 cover price. $3.99, $3.99. The thick one, this one's $4.99. I guess it depends on page count. And this one here is $9.99 cover price, and I just bought this for less than $1. Just weeks after it came out, and all of these obnoxious, variant covers that have nothing to do with the story. Look, this is a freaking Spider-Man comic. I can't stress enough how nuts this is making me. But that's my report, and next week I'll do a much shorter one because I bought another comic just to make you as crazy as I am. Before I get into the Quark here, let's do a little show and tell. So this is the poster I just finished, and Kurt, you have a JPEG of it, so you can splash it up on the screen. But every time my band plays a show, I make a poster and we hang it up at the venue. And one day I'm going to put out like a book or a comic or something with all these, and because I have dozens of them at this point, and they're really fun to do, because I'm making them all comic-y looking now, and they're all like splash pages. And I was thinking about offering this service. Tell me what you think about if I took out these band names and I used the same art and I substituted other band names in it, I could sell this as a service, right? And say, look, if you like this design, because I have like 30 different designs, I could say, you know, get a concert poster for your band. You know, I don't know. I would charge like maybe $100, $50. I don't know, $100 probably. But I don't know. I think of these business ideas when when I make these things, because people love it, but they don't like these bands. They want to see other bands. Or if I talk to people that have their own band, there's a whole band community, and they're like, "Hey man, you want to do some of my announcements?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I gotta charge you though. It's probably not worth it for you. Probably be more than you
it's
make at the
okay.
gig."
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, so I have one other thing on my run now, but I'll wait if you want to take a turn. What's up with Kurt? What's up in all things Kurt Brugel? I
Oh
saw your
well, I
post.
am working on the cover. What's that? You might post?
Yeah, no, I saw you posting a lot of CROM stuff on Insta.
Oh yeah, we don't have to get into that right off the bat, though. If we have to, I would like to invite you next Saturday morning at 10 to do a what you always do for me. I
CROM
have
update.
submitting. Well, yeah, it'll be a CROM update, and I have submitting to the Amazons, which is the second story. So I have my, I've done like, I don't know, like almost, it's almost done. I just need that Jacobs, like, hey, why don't you think about this, or this is a little less this and a little more that and everything. And I made a couple of moves with some technique that I also want to kind of show off. So would you check your calendar and see if you're available for about 40 minutes of your time at 10 o'clock next Saturday?
Yeah, the calendar's getting a little dicey. You're talking about the 20th.
All right.
Right now it's open.
Yeah. Okay.
So
all right.
maybe
We'll see what happens.
we could do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
Then I reached out to our main man Dan Snoke from Rave Sensations, Sensation, and told him about the idea about the three of us trying to find a comic book that has some really cool monsters and some big bad babes, like a female protagonist kind of thing. And he was totally on board. Some scheduling things, obviously, we would have to work out timing wise, but he said he already had an idea or two, so he would get back to me when it was appropriate. So that's a little something coming where we'll get with Dan Snook as we did last year, and we'll all three have the same comic, and we'll talk about it. So that'll be kind of like a new little thing. And the what else was that? Yeah, I'm pretty good. Yeah,
So,
I mean, my
when's
time
that
on
on the calendar?
I don't know yet. He's going to be. He doesn't have weekends off as of right now. So, and we're that Sunday, maybe Saturday kind of spin. So, I just said to him, hey, as soon as let's give me a heads up so I can get you on the calendar, and then of course we can get those comics in our little grubby hands. But other than that, I have just had my head down, focusing on Turbo, CROM the Barbarian Revised Edition. And yes, CROMthebarbarian.com is a weekly blog where I do talk about and give updates to the Revised Edition. Where is it? The Revised Edition of CROM the Barbarian, which I put out in 2018, which were the original 4 stories, and then I had done 4 stories in ballpoint pen, but I'm going to be giving it the old Kurt Brugel inking style now, 2023-24 version. I have a couple of artists I'm working with. David Molina drawn sword. I got a Ken Landgraf commission that just came in the mail
I
yesterday, but
saw,
I'm
yeah,
not showing it here yet. It's going to be on cromthebarbarian.com first, and of course it'll be in the book. But the artists that I'm having, including Ken Landgraf, when I launch the release of the revised edition, will have limited edition virgin covers for each artist, and so that's a sweet little announcement that's going on. I have a couple more artists that I'm going to be reaching out to this week, but I'll be closing that off this week coming. So this time next week, I will have the artists that I want and scheduled out, because I'm looking for. Now you'll love this. I have my schedule. So I printed out this big calendar. This is a calendar. You gotta get planned. So tentatively, this is all tentative stuff. By the end of February, all art will be done for the CROM release, revised edition, and then the actual selling of the book. I'm not going to do crowdfunding, and I will talk about that at a later time. I don't want to get too into the depths of why I'm not going crowdfunding, because I have a different approach to selling comics that I really want to push out to the community. But this March and April are going to be putting the book together, getting it in front of the creators for like editing purposes. You, my friend, will also be included, because I always value your creative input, art direction. April will be signing people up, because I'm going to do a limited edition just for those people that have YouTube channels that are friends of ours, if not just in the same wheelhouse, that I've yet to reach out to. But I will be hopefully setting something up to be able to get copies out to them. And then I'll have an entire month that'll be all devoted to CROM, and promoting and pushing that forward. And you'll notice down here, September, tentatively, a follow-up book that's going to be called CROM Anthology. Once again, I'll have more information as this is coming to date. So this is one thing I also want to just tell our community, that if you are an artist and you're working just like we are, only maybe once a week, or however you're not full-time, get a calendar and start putting some planning out there. This is always movable. I'm not going to die on this rock on the 29th, which is a leap year in February of 2024, but at least gives me 6 weeks. Gives me 6 weeks to know that I have to get things scheduled and make decisions whether I'm going to watch a 2-hour movie or I'm going to ink. So these are really good little habits, and especially if you can start building these habits at the beginning of a new year, then please take this on. I just looked up 2024 calendar printable, and then went to the Google Images and then looked for a large version, grabbed it, printed it, and voila. So that is my report, my friend. And of course, I'm working on the cover for the teaser. And then I have the back cover matter to do. And then I have corrections. Where is this? I need a bigger desk. So here it is. So we had already gone through in a previous episode where you would give me art direction on cleaning up, making more clarity. Don't do this, or we're going to do that, which was the narration. The narrator has a specific style narration box, so I have to start prepping for that. So we are tentatively looking at like a completion, I would guess, and correct me if I'm wrong or a little too enthusiastic, Jake, but we could see completion of Turbo Pit Fighter in mid-February, which would give us maybe a March drop, and would be able to get it out into community fan hands, as well as other people to help promote through the Indie Comic Exchange.
Yeah, well, that's quite a rundown. So The CROM anthology sounds interesting. If anybody out there is listening and you like barbarian comics, sword and sorcery, that's going to be a book where you're going to be compiling. Is it just going to be CROM stories, or is it going to be any kind of the ilk?
The first quarter of it will be the CROM new CROM stories or new CROM material. But what I want to do is then the rest of the book. I want to try to get up to about 100 pages, black and white magazine size, where it's adjacent material. So, like you said, barbarian. But it would also have like a post-apocalyptic or otherworldly type stuff. And then there is even, I don't want to put Matt King on the spot, but we did bring this up on his interview for Tales to Enlighten, is maybe I could get him to put a little patch of maybe 10 pages in where it would be a black and white. You would see Tales to Enlighten in a black and white version. So, these are things I have to work out because, it's just like with Ken Landgraf, I just don't want to expect, for free. So there's licensing, and I just got to figure it all out because the cost effectiveness has got to be there. I can't just spend money to have something. I've got to spend money in order to get money in return, so I can then do another one or so on and so forth. So
Yeah, I'm kind of going through that myself now. I'm talking to an artist down in Brazil, and he started to send me a rough. I did what you said. I said let's just start out with one page, and I was gonna say let's make it a pinup, but actually page 2 of the comic has like such a big splash panel. I said, well, let's just do page 2 because we could repurpose that. And he started sending me rough. I sent him back some revisions, and yeah, we're working together like that. Of course, that's a different comic idea. It's going to be called Big Movie She Devils. But we are starting to work with other artists on other projects, and it's great that Turbo Pit Fighter was able to allow us to meet those people and get those relationships going, because there's no reason why we can't why I can't be writing and drawing Turbo while I'm writing another series. I write all the time. I write in my car nowadays when I'm just driving to work. I pull out my phone and I put on, the recorder, and you have the text to speech thing, speech to text thing, and next thing you know, you're writing. But it all depends. It all starts with an idea. If you have an idea, then you can start writing. So yeah, that's a great catch up of where we're at. If people are this far in, you see we're two guys that are making a comic, and it's not just a comic; it's also like a publishing concern. I like to call it Doom Magazines. This is going to be the name of the overriding company, the overarching parent company, or whatever, which is just a name right now, but. What I'm doing right now is literally laying out the Doom Magazine's logo in QuarkXPress. Let me hit save in case I crash. But like we said earlier, we are. I'm laying out this. This is going to possibly be the center spread of the Turbo teaser, or I'm kind of leaning towards making it the last 2 pages before the back cover, just so people can read the first 12 pages uninterrupted, although I'm still open to to suggestions. But
we'll print 2 versions. We'll print two
yeah, maybe we
versions
can
and have a look.
maybe get some feedback. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if we just home print it and put it into people's hands and we'll, pass it around. But remember, I am gonna be springing for printing like 100 copies of this. I think 100 copies. Yeah, that's where like there's a decent price break, and you don't have to do any stapling and folding or anything. So yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
no, we
call
made
this.
that decision. We made that decision. Yeah, I forget
Yeah,
the name of the printer you found, but yeah, I'll do the same thing. I just got to make sure it's going to have the creamy the creamy color paper. I want I still want my versions to be on this cream colored stock. So if they're printing them,
I agree with that, but you could actually just print that cream color, without too much.
yeah, the file. Well, then, what do you mean
Yeah,
print that? Like as a color, as a
yeah, yeah. If it's black and white art, and then but I think that you would have to pay extra for the color,
yeah, I
but
was just gonna
it's
say.
possible. It's possible. Yeah. Yeah. You got to get a printer that's just got that option. If not, you could just literally send them the paper. You know. So there's a bunch of ways to get it done. Um, so this is going to be the meat and potatoes of this episode. I have, if people were watching as we were talking, I've just imported some elements here, and I just hit save in case this thing dies. But this is QuarkXPress, where you lay out picture boxes and text boxes. I could make all of these uh, lines invisible, hide guides like this. See? And I think I'm going to have one page here where we're going to talk about do magazines. And then I think the way to organize this is to put the other page here, which we're going to talk about Turbo. And this is where we'll preview the Ikes, only because they were the only characters that I had sketched in advance. And Kurt was so nice. Kurt was so nice to ink them so that we could have. Oops, I just did this 90. It should be minus 90. So yeah, if people just want to get a little taste of QuarkXPress, I just imported a picture of Mrs. Ike. Now I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm going to import picture, and now I'm going to grab Mr. Ike, and I just saw it for the first time this morning. Oops, she's number one, so Mr. Ike is number two. I love the way Kurt inked it. These are great illustrations now. But I did give Kurt some feedback on Mr. Ike's face, because
Yeah.
I want Mr. Ike. Mr. Ike is going to be like maybe his early 40s or late 30s. He's going to have some history there with Turbo. Some past adventure, which I could write about in a Substack installment. But what I told Kurt was, his eyes look like they're bulging a little bit. So let's bring his eyelids down, and then his yeah. Let me see if I could really zoom in here. And then I said he needs to be a little more wrinkly. So this right here is where if I was drawing this, I would bring in some. Oh, you know what? I could do this right in Photoshop just as a little demonstration, but this I won't save it. So Mr. Ike number two. Here is how, because I have my stylus here, my Wacom Bamboo, and if I zoom in, wow, this looks great in Photoshop. In Quark, you get low res previews. Are you using the high text on this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. The high text are the type of pen that we both love. So, yeah, I would start out by just making his eyelids. Let me get a brush here. And how come it's not? Something's going on here. Well, basically, I would just make his eyelids lower here. And I'm not sure why this isn't. Oh, because my opacity. Oh, here we go. Let's get this. Yeah, so I would just bring the eyelids down like that. So he's a little more relaxed looking. See how he's already more relaxed looking? And wrinkles. So here and here. And now he just got 10 years. And then also here and here. Maybe a little bit of double chin or something. Nah, that doesn't look good. yeah, on the other side here, some more wrinkles. These are like frown lines. Um, it's hard to draw bags under his eyes because he's got the veins there. But
Correct.
yeah, but yeah, we'll wrinkle him up a little bit. I think maybe like you could maybe make it a little more wrinkly around the mouth. Yeah, those kind of things. Yeah, these guys have been through a lot. I'm gonna hit close and don't save, but that's basically my feedback on those. And we're gonna talk about these characters here in this page. You know, I don't want to give too much away about the story that's coming up. So what I might just do is talk about the Turbo world, and then just have little captions here, which will say something like, "Stay tuned for the appearance of Mr. Ike in Turbo number two." And Mrs. Ike, of course. What would be good is if she was pointing at him with the gun. See, I'm playing. See how I'm playing around. See how I'm playing around with it.
Well, that's why I put her on this side, right? So she's on this side, and then he was.
Yeah, you did the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, but and it's not. You're not obviously going to go this big. It was just obviously when we keep showing off where we're heading, then
yeah,
people understand.
So as I see this, and I did bring in the text, I'm really thinking that I'd probably like to have some more pictures here. And here's the text that I brought in, where we can have it kind of flow here. I do have this just a square box, and I need to bring this to the front, but I forgot my shortcut. It's F5 for that. Or is it function F5? Yep, that worked. I forgot some of these shortcuts. Here, I want to have I think the Doom Magazine's logo is a little bit too big. I'm wondering if we should grayscale this. It looks a little plain the way it is. But now I'm going to change the font. And I'm not sure what font I want to have. So I'm going to roll through the fonts. There's a keyboard shortcut where you can just say assign next font, and then you can see what it all looks like. So I'm gonna zoom in a little and do that. I noticed that when I brought this in, I got a lot of weird text characters. That's normal because I'm going back in time on this laptop. So I gotta put my little what do you call these bullets here, and I am going to be talking about the Doom Magazine Pantheon, or at least the rundown of stories that are going to be part of the Substack installments. By the way, I think I'm ready for the first one, but I noticed that it takes me a lot longer than I thought to prepare like illustrations, and maybe I'm working on them too much. But
I keep saying they're not. If you can change your state of mind towards them, it shouldn't be illustrations. It should be doodles. These should be things. Yeah. They should be doodles, just literally scribbles. Like, for instance, you showed this off episodes ago, and I just tripped out. I mean, it was just like, wow. I'm down with that. And then I just put myself forward in doing. An ink version, so we have it inside our turbo teaser that feels a little bit more verbose. But this is other than having I don't know, some of this other material could be in there as well as a handwritten block of text. It kind of goes through it. But I know you have a heavy sense of production in value and getting there. and shortcutting for some things. Like if you can make something happen and it does two things and it gets you there quicker, that's great. But I'm really just trying to get us in the frame of mind that we have a long time ahead of us until you retire. Just so everybody understands, we're doing this every Sunday because that's the only time Jake has, because he's a full-time teacher, and we'll be retiring in 6 years. So why not lay the groundwork for our retirement? Working together.
Actually,
So
June 2028. June 2028 is got to be my last day that I have to work to get my 20 in. So that's not quite 6 years.
That's 4 years, or yeah.
4 more. But I think I'm gonna work beyond that, because if you're a New
Sure.
York City teacher, you can get 2% added to your pension every other year that you work, and it's a good deal because they want experienced teachers to stay in the system. But
Oh, of
you
course,
know,
of course, of course.
but
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
no
you
spring
got there's
chicken.
there's life that comes and goes and happens and changes and stuff, and that's great. But once again, we have a plan and we have a direction, and we're right now, this is what it is. But we're not, we never said by May of 2026 we'll have issue number 1 of Turbo Pit Fighter done. It's not. We're also doing this as a documentation for ourselves as creators. So, because we only have, I think right now we have 637 people following us, which is fantastic, by the way. Our community.
Wow.
Jake, let me tell you, I spent a half an hour answering comments yesterday.
Oh,
and they were amazing. In our community tab, I post a poll every day, and it has something to do with comics in general, Marvel, DC, independence, Japanese, European, blah blah blah. And I get people that post something, and then it usually triggers a question for me, so then I ask them to give me it's great. So I think as much as it's fantastic to have this desire to make a comic book, I really do believe building a community should be first. So wherever you end up getting out of teaching and you're retired, what we have in the way of Turbo Pit Fighter is a YouTube channel and a community. We could just put more time into it. But right now, I just want to enjoy and have things happen and figure things out, because we're also old guys, in the way that we're still holding on to a lot of the thinking that comes with when we were making comics, in the 90s, and that's all changed, and that's what we keep finding out. And then we're also interviewing in our indie comic exchange. Later today, we're actually going to be having the official Eli Schwab interview. Interview, and it's Cosmic Lion Production. So, and then the next week, we're doing Relic Hunter with Adam Lemna.
Yeah,
So,
this
there's a lot.
channel's really taken off. There is.
Yeah, our goal. I have only one goal with the YouTube channel. Is I cannot wait to hit 1,000 subscribers. But I have to say this: I feel like out of 637 people right now who are subscribed, I really do believe we have a good portion of them engaging our content. Whether it's only jumping in for a couple of minutes to see what we're doing, or just watching the comics and influence, or the interviews, or the shorts, or whatever it is that we're putting up there, it makes me feel good that there's a portion of people that are getting something out of our content. So, and I also just want to say once again, thank you for listening to us, especially if you've gotten this far, because I consider you a turbo nut.
Yes, sir. So, I'm looking for the keyboard short. Oops, I'm looking for the keyboard shortcut where you could change the font, but I might have to do this manually here. I'm going to. I have a lot of different fonts here. Let's see. Oh boy, some of these fonts are. I don't even know why I have them. So one other thing that I wanted to bring up this week is I was watching some movies, and yesterday I was on Netflix. I found this movie called Love and Monsters, and it is so bad that I bailed out of it. I was falling asleep. It was supposed to be like a comedy, but the reason I tried it is because it's post-apocalyptic, and at the very beginning they had that kind of like intro where the world goes all bad, and you know everybody's like hiding in bunkers. So I thought the setup was good. It was kind of like low budget and awful. It was trying to be a comedy with all these like monsters and stuff. Ugh, it was bad. So don't see Love and Monsters, but do see Dread. I finally saw Dread, and this wasn't the Sylvester Stallone original. But this was like a remake. This was like a redo in 2012. And it was pretty good. It was pretty good. The bad guy was the Queen Cersei from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And she played a very gritty kind of like mob boss lady, in a futuristic project building that's like, like a 500 stories tall or something crazy. And there was lots of action, lots of explosions, lots of, weapons. And they had a female protagonist along with Judge Dredd. She was a judge that was like a trainee. And pretty good setup, and lots of science fiction. So I would recommend that. I don't know if you saw that one.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
I'd watch it again too, to
Well,
be honest with you. Now that you've mentioned it tonight, I'll probably put it in my watch list. So I think
oh
it's on
yeah,
Amazon, right? I think it's on Amazon right now.
yeah. I saw it on whatever we have, like Prime or Netflix. I
Yeah,
saw it. So
yeah.
it's there. And you know what I came across yesterday? I didn't watch it, but I was surprised. That it was there. But they have the original Death Wish is there
Yeah, yeah.
with Charles Bronson. And I love seeing anything with like the old subways on it because I was like a kid, when all that was happening. But it's a really distressing kind of story, because in the story Charles Bronson's becomes a vigilante after his wife is killed and his daughter is raped, and they just like show the rape. It's like they show the whole scene unfolding, and it was really disturbing. I think it was like 1971 when this comes out,
Yeah,
and
because it's
you
still
don't
the
see things.
exploitation. It's all exploitation. They're still
Well, yeah,
running under that.
that movie crossed over. It became a very mainstream
Yeah,
movie.
yep.
Um, and maybe it
Because
started
of
out as
Charles
a.
Bronson.
Yeah, I mean, he was in a lot of bad movies. He was in a lot of like low budget action movies. I mean, just look at the sequels that came out. But I think everybody needs to see it. If you're young and you're listening to this, I think you have to see it just as a cultural reference. Because
It's a good point. It's a
um,
good
you
point.
know,
I agree.
it brought up a lot of conversation around vigilantism, and actually what happened in New York City. I think it was in the 80s, but a guy was sitting on alone on the subway. Some guys came up to mug him or whatever, with like sharpened screwdrivers, and he shot them just
Yeah,
like the scene in the movie. Just
yep,
exactly like the scene in the movie. And that was a guy by the name of Bernard Getz, who was on
yep.
trial. And, he didn't have a license for the gun, but he was certainly defending himself. Then it was a big deal because he shot a couple of the guys in the back, and they were like running away when they saw the gun, and then did he go too far? So I guess the arguments just
Wow,
ensue. But
that's a that's a very big piece of history right there. It's,
Real
wow,
stuff, man.
I'm having
Real
a
stuff.
flashback.
But when do the movies? That this is when the movies kind of influence. Art imitates life, and vice versa.
Right.
Excuse me. So yeah. So I
All
saw
right,
that,
we
and
are
I'm probably
at
gonna.
the 45-minute mark. We're actually over the 45-minute mark, Jake. So we try to keep these episodes bite-sized, let these people get back to reading comics, making them if they do. I have nothing else to contribute other than giving a little like, hey, I'm Turbo and I just kicked a bunch of ass right here and I'm going to be on the cover of Turbo Teaser #2. What do you got for these good people on the outs?
Well, yeah. I'm just going to zoom out here so we can see what I accomplished while we're talking. And so this is the beginning of the layout here for a 2-page spread. This will be the left. This will be the right. I'm going to take some of this text, put it over on this side, and I'm working with it. This is just the beginning. I'm going to have like black and white and knockout text, and I think I'm going to bring in some other illustrations before next week. But I got this far, and I'm going to hit save so it doesn't go away. And I think we're going to use this to just kind of explain ourselves. I think we do owe the whoever gets this teaser an explanation that we're not just a comic, we're a podcast, and
Okay.
we're two guys and all that kind of
Yay,
stuff. So
we're two guys.
That's all I got on the outs.
Awesome, Jake. Well, I look forward to getting a. Ooh, we're gonna try to do a comics that influence because we haven't done that in a while. So there's my little sneak peek. I want to do
Oh
some
wow, okay,
Kelly
you got some
Jones.
Dark
Some
Horse.
Kelly Jones. Yeah, because we have
he's-
an hour. We have an hour until we meet up with Eli Schwab on the Comic Exchange.
Yep, let's do it.
Comic Exchange. So, all right. So let me get out of here, and I will see you in a couple minutes for our comics that influence.
Everybody, peace out. See you next time.